Hey, welcome back to PQF Academy. Before we get started, I want to say thank you guys for subscribing. Um, my goal for the end of the year was 250 subscribers. And I surpassed 500. Now I'm above 600 now. And I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate it so much that I want to give away my mini tote bag from my City Tote collection. In order for you to be able to win this bag, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment on the video. I will announce the winner next Monday. Okay? Because on Thursday I'm also gonna have the same exact stipulations also. So you have Monday and Thursday to be able to do it, and then following Monday we're gonna go ahead and announce the winner. Okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Once again, sorry before we start. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get started. So far we've made 2 bags out of one pattern. This pattern, just one pattern. 2 bags so far out of one pattern. We're going to continue with this pattern, but we're going to deconstruct this pattern now. All right, it's going to be the exact same pattern, but we're going to do some things to it this go around. So what you're going to need for this video is a ruler, a pen, and just to be on the safe side, we're going to use two poster board paper or pattern paper or however long. We're just going to need enough so you'll be able to follow along and do what I'm going to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're actually going to take our main pattern piece and we're going to trace it out. All right, we're going to trace it, then we're going to cut it out of this from this poster board paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now that I have 2 of them cut out, I'm actually going to do the exact same thing with the other poster board paper. I'm going to cut out 3. All right, I'm going to come out 3. I'm going to cut out 1 more. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Cut out 1 more. So you will be having a total of 3 of these. Okay, so now we have a total of 3. And the reason why we have a total of 3 is because 2 of these are going to be deconstructed. So we're going to keep our main bag piece. We have to make sure that we keep this one for other projects. So we had to create 2 new ones because one of them both these 2 are going to be deconstructed. So why go through the whole hassle of remaking another pattern when all we had to do is just trace it? Now we got this one. So we can just go ahead and take and put this one to the side. Now we can also take one of these and put them to the side also. So what we're going to do next now, right? So what we're going to make here is out of this bag, we're going to make a 2-tone bag to where basically the bottom is a different color than the rest of the bag. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make that type of tote bag. And also in that, we're also going to have it to where the straps come all the way up, go all the way up the bag and form a one long strap. I'm also going to show you how to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our ruler. Me personally, I like to go up about 2 inches, 2.5 actually, from the depth part of the bag. Depth, not depth, depth. All right, so we can go here, trace 2 inches up. All right, now I'm just going to turn this over and I'm going to straighten that up and go straight across. All right, and we're going to go straight across right there in that 2-inch mark. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this bottom portion off. So as you can see, this is what we have right here, right? So I have 2 pieces. So I'm going to call this right here. This is going to be the main. You don't have to write. I always like M. I go MEX. Main exterior. And I'm going to cut 2 of these. So 2 cut. All right. That's the main exterior. And this is the bottom exterior. And cut 2. And this would be two contrasting fabrics. All right. So if you want to write that down on there, contrasting, I understand and I know what I have. So you're going to write two contrasting, contrasting cut two. So that means whatever, say for instance, if I'm using a lime green pattern here and I want to use a black pattern down here, that would be my contrasting fabric. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, I'm going to put this off to the side. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to actually trace this again, right? But this time before I trace it, I'm going to grab my ruler and I'm going to go up to where my seam allowance is. So meaning if your seam allowance is 3/8, you want to go ahead and put 3/8 as seam allowance. Me, I like to do a 1/2 inch. So I'll go here, mark a 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to come straight across. Make sure that's straight. I'm going to go straight across. And then from there, I'm going to come right down here to where this begins. Go up. Whoops. Sorry, that was a mistake. Got to get it a little closer. Come down or go up. And then I'm just going to trace the rest of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this bottom portion out. This right here I can toss away. This is going to be my new bottom. I'm going to cut this out, okay? Now, I should tell you before we go, the reason why I did this is because when we go to sew, whatever your seam allowance is already bedded inside of this, so it won't make the bag shorter than what it should be. It will keep it this exact same length, okay? So that's why I did that. So now I have my new bottom piece. New bottom exterior contrast. All right. Cut 2. All right. So I have my new one. This is my bottom piece to my main piece. And it has a 1/2 inch already built into it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that off to the side. Now I'm going to grab my other piece that I created. Now, this right here would be technically my lining, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it over because we're also going to do the same thing with the lining. We're going to make a contrasting piece for the lining. So basically the exact same thing. So we're going to go 2 inches, like I said, I like 2 inches. Let's do 2.5 for the lining. 2.5 inches up. Well, remember, you can also do whatever you want. If you want to do 1 inch, you can do 1 inch. I wouldn't really recommend it. If you want to do 3 inches, you want to go all the way down to do, 7 inches. It's completely up to you. But me personally, I'm going to do 2.5. I'm going to go up 2.5 inches. All right, find that line. Draw that line. Make this straight. All right, and just, now that's straight. Then go ahead and just draw straight across. And basically the same exact thing I did to make this, as I'm gonna do the same exact thing. When I cut this piece out right here, matter of fact, I'll just show you. So now, as you can see, I have 2 pieces cut out. I have my lining, bottom, cut 2, and I have my lining, contrast, cut 2. But the reason why you're probably wondering, okay, so we're going to be making another one. Like, we're going to grab the scrap from there and we're going to come here, put this there. Then we're going to go up 2 inches. Well, actually your seam allowance, not 2 inches. Sorry about that. Thinking of something else. Go up your seam allowance. And the same thing we did with this one. We're going to do the exact same thing and make a whole new one. So our seam allowance is going to be embedded into it, right? And the reason why I had you guys, even though we're not going to use this piece right here, the reason why I have you guys do that way is because we'll know what we are using. We will know what we're cutting, basically. We'll know that, hey, okay, I'm using this part we're going to be using for my lining. So I'm going to put it up a 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to go around. Even though I'm going to take and put this to the side, at least say, for instance, something were to happen, you lost your place or something, life happens, you go upstairs, you'll already know what you were doing. You get what I'm saying? You'll know that you were cutting out the contrasting piece to your lining. All right, so go ahead, find your seam allowance. Like I said, mine's a 1/2 inch. I like to do a 1/2 inch. Get this straight. Get that straight, go straight across, go here, all the way across to the lining part. Find the edge. Boom. There we go. Now we have a new one of these drawn out. Then we cut this out and then we mark it. So lining, you can actually put lining top. Contrast, cut 2. All right. So go ahead and do all of that. Okay. So we should have in our possession 4 pattern pieces. We have our main exterior, and then we have our main bottom exterior, which is our contrasting. Then we have our lining bottom. Then we have our lining top contrasting. Now, we're going to also make another strap. And I'm going to explain why we're making this strap once I get face to face with you. But when we're making this strap is going to be 3 inches high. All right. 3 inches high and then 25 inches long. Or however long the end of this paper is, which typically is about 28 inches, if I'm not mistaken. But at this moment, just do 25 inches, okay? So from 3 inches high to 25 inches long, okay? So once you're done with that, make sure you label it, because I'm not going to show you. You already know how to make a handle. So make sure you label it 3 inches up, 25 inches long, all right? And then next time I see you, we're going to be meeting face to face so I can explain everything that we're going to be doing, okay? We have a total of 5 new pieces cut out. All right, we have our bottom exterior contrast pattern, sorry. And we have our main exterior top pattern. We have our lining bottom pattern. And we have our top lining contrasted pattern. And we also have our strap pattern. I already had a strap already cut out, so that's why it's a different color. That's 3 by 25, okay? Now, like I had said, I want to tell you why I had you cut out a new strap. My contrasting fabric, I do want to say this, it can be any color you want it to be. Any color, any type of fabric you feel comfortable working with, okay? Any type of fabric you feel comfortable working with. Now, the reason why I did a new handle is because my contrasting fabric is going to be faux leather. Okay, it's gonna be faux leather. I don't want you guys to get scared and be like, "Oh, I've never worked with faux leather before, so I don't know if I can do it." You can. If you've worked with fabric, you can work with faux leather. Faux leather isn't like real leather. It's not as thick or anything of that nature. I do want to show you what I mean by that. So this right here, it gauges the ounces. So if I was to put this here, it's 0.5 ounces. That's what that is, okay? Now, if I was to take a piece of lining fabric that's interfaced and fold that, I get the same exact thing, 0.5. So remember, we sew through when we're making when we're doing our strap, we're sewing through basically 4 layers of this already. So you can do it. But if you don't feel comfortable using faux leather, we can still use our old pattern and still do the same method that we did when we were folding this in half to make the regular straps and the handles for our first two bags. The reason why this one right here, this strap was what I believe we had this strap at. We had this strap at 5 inches. It looks like so it can get down to about 2. So it can get down to about 2 inches. So we fold that in 4s. But the reason why I had to cut this strap, because I want this strap to be at least 1 inch, 1 inch thick, for when I fold it. Now, we're not gonna fold this like the regular handle piece. The way we'll fold this is we'll fold this in half, like we'll fold it in half, or find the middle. When we do that, when we find the middle, we put one edge in, just same way we do when we do the strap and the handle for the last two patterns. But the only thing we don't do is the extra fold. So it stays just like this, these two in the middle, okay? When we get to the video, it's gonna make sense. But once again, if you don't feel comfortable using the faux leather as your contrasting fabric, you can use any type of fabric as your contrasting fabric, okay? So what we're gonna need, basically, we're gonna need all of the patterns that I showed you and also our slip pocket. We're not getting rid of that, all right? We're gonna need our slip pocket. We're also gonna need our cutting utensils, our weights. If you're not using the faux leather, for the contrasting fabric, for our lining, for our woven fabric, for like our main piece, I'm going to be using this fabric for my main piece. So I'm going to need woven interfacing. So I'm going to need the woven interfacing. I'm going to need about 2 yards because I'm going to be doing this for the exterior, and also still the lining, and also my my slip pocket. So I'll need 2 yards of this if I'm using the faux leather, if I'm using faux leather. If I'm not using faux leather, I'm going to need 4 yards in this. I want you to, matter of fact, get 4.5 yards just to be safe, okay? Also, if you are using the faux leather, we're going to need double-sided tape, all right? You can get this at any Joann Fabrics, or you can go online and look up double-sided fabric tape, okay? Double-sided fabric tape or double-sided leather tape, okay? Yeah, look up double-sided leather tape. It's a little bit stronger, I believe, than the fabric, but we're going to need double-sided tape. Also, I don't have it right now, and what we're gonna get into hardware, so I will have that in the video, and you'll see what I mean if you don't know what a magnetic snap is. I had to order some. I actually thought that I had some already, and when I did a big order back a couple months ago, I used them all. I at least thought I had one. I'll be able to show you what it is, but I will be able to show you what that is when the next video. So you are going to need a magnetic snap because we are going to get into a little bit of hardware, but not much, okay? So if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy what you're learning, like, subscribe, share it with a friend. Tell your friends to come watch the videos also. All right, if you're liking what you see, basically. And don't worry, as time goes on and progress, my speech is gonna get a little bit better. You're not gonna hear me say and all this other stuff, all the filler words, basically. I'm still getting comfortable on the screen, so bear with me. And once again, thank you for tuning in with PQF Academy.